Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to another daily dice. We ask the dice for a message and find out what that is. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey, to be a part of this amazing tribe. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time in this space with you. And for those of you new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we are all here sharing this human experience and that this is a safe space for you to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into your daily dice. Today we are going to be asking about love. So Source, what messages do you have for my fellow humans in regards to love? What would you like us to know, Source? What messages do you have for my fellow humans today in regards to love? Okay, so we've got Virgo, we've got Pluto, and the third house. Okay, if you've been with me for any time, you know when the third house does make an appearance, we could potentially be talking about twin flame energy. I'm not going to focus solely on that. However, one thing that is coming true right now, what is ringing in this message, is that there's been a lot of blockage in regards to your love life, in regards to how you communicate to yourself, how you view yourself, and how you think about yourself as well. So a lot with the logical mind coming in here, and definitely in how you are talking to yourself behind closed doors. Like if you accidentally make a mistake, how do you talk to yourself about that? Are you calling yourself names? Are you being cruel to yourself? Are you being malicious to yourself? And we have to kind of draw back and remember, how did our caretakers talk to us when we were growing up? Because that's oftentimes the exact same tone that we take with ourselves when we potentially do anything that we deem as useless or deserving of punishment or wrong, right? We will often talk to ourselves in the same critical tone that our caretakers talked to us in when we were growing up. And so in regards to your love life here, we are talking about communicating to yourself and figuring out how to transform that. Can you come into this space of nurturing and love and innocence? Really, with Virgo here, it's all about connecting with that innocence within and being kind and gentle to yourself, but in a very direct way. Can you change the way that you have this harsh tone with yourself? You know, Virgos can be very perfectionist oriented, like everything has to fall exactly into place the way that I picture it. And oftentimes life is not like that at all. It's very chaotic, it's very scattered, it's one thing will fall into place the way that we imagined, and 10 other things will not go at all how we planned. And it's just remembering that that is a part of life, that not everything is meant to go the way that we viewed it. Rather, it will come together, but we have to be open to the potential results and how it's coming together. So when they're talking about your love life, and whether you're with someone or you're single, this doesn't matter. But the main thing here is there's a transformation that wants to be acknowledged in the way that you are communicating to yourself, which in turn will also change the way that we speak to those that we love, whether that's a lover, a spouse, a family member, a friend, a coworker, whoever you care about in life. Is really bringing in this transformation and this change in the vocal tones. It's not what we say, it's how we say it. And that rings very true within our mind as well, with Gemini energy in the third house and Virgo energy both being ruled by Mercury. We are talking directly about the way that we are communicating. So love life here is all, it's really dependent on how you're talking to yourself, and also paying attention to the way that you're talking to the people that you love. You know, oftentimes we're not actually conscious of the way that we are appearing to others, because we're not seeing it or hearing it the way that they're hearing it. And being mindful of that will actually help us come from a place more of empathy and kindness Not nice, not being nice, or not for the sake of building up or feeding another's ego. This is all about being kind and gentle with those around us. And sometimes kind and gentle will not be perceived by another person because they're just not in the space of hearing that. But it doesn't mean that we can't always look at our own actions. In fact, that's where real growth does come from. We do have fixed energy coming out here with Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius with stability, persistence, loyalty, and dependability. So remembering that showing up is a very vital part when it comes to your connections. How are you showing up? Are you showing up as that dependable person? Are you being loyal? I'm not questioning that. It's just these are questions that we can ask ourselves along the journey so that we can always be mindful of the people that are in our lives. You know, sometimes you might go a couple of weeks without communicating with someone that you really care about. But that's finding, with Libra flying out here, it's all about finding balance, right? And again, we have consideration, fairness, and harmony. And I was just saying, it's always important for us to ask ourselves these questions so that we can consider those that are in our lives and continue to find a state of balance. Love isn't hard, but it does take work, right? Yeah. With yang energy on the bottom, proactivity, expression, doing, and moving forward, which is the epitome of work, right? We have to do something. We still have to show up. We can't expect that love is just going to show up and we don't have to do anything, right? No, you have to consider the other person. You have to take into accountability how you're showing up, right? Listen with your heart. You are listening, but need to hear with a loving heart, with number 1 coming out here. Having faith that all good things are coming your way, especially in the realm of love, that things will work out for you. But remember that we also need to consider where the other person is coming from, and that's not always easy to do. And if you're wondering more about that, I actually have a podcast that I posted this week on the 13th that really does go into depth about that, okay? So we do have patience. Love is patient and kind always. You know, unconditional love is something that's really foreign to so many people because we grew up in a society that's based on conditional love, right? We have receive love with love and appreciation. Gracious acceptance is a way to show love, with number 34 here. So we grew up in a society that's based on conditional love. I'll only love you if you see the world the way that I do. I'll only love you if you believe the things that I believe. I'll only love you if you are acting the way I expect you to act. You know, and this is difficult in life. Why is this difficult in life? Because most of the time, none of us fit into those bubbles or into those ideas that other people have deemed we're supposed to fit into. It's a cookie cutter version of the way that life is supposed to go, but no one really fits into that, and not even the people who are in that state of conditional love. And most of us have lived in that, right? Because most of us have not grown up with a role model of what unconditional love is. Like, no matter what you do, I will love you. There is nothing or no one or anything in this life that you can do that will ever disrupt the love that I have for you. I will always have your back, no matter what. And oftentimes, most of us have never experienced that. And so we don't realize that we too are coming from a place of conditional love. And so here we're being asked to balance this out with abundance coming through here. Positive mindset manifests gratitude and bliss and blessings. It's through this understanding of how we're showing up in a relationship and considering all parties involved. Even if you're dealing with someone difficult, can you consider the potential of their past? Why might they be showing up from this difficult place? Why might they be putting this harsh energy on me? Right? And is that triggering me to talk about myself in a specific way? Is that triggering me to show up and talk to this person in a specific way? Am I being ruthless? It's not what I say, it's how I say it. So am I being cruel in my words, even though I'm not meaning to be cruel? How am I coming across? And when you do that, you begin to balance out your love for the world. But not only that, the most important thing here is balancing out the love for yourself. Like, we have coffee cup, meeting and talking, savoring the moment, feeling elevated, and building a friendship. And I actually love that this came out because we talk about that, meeting and talking, how you're communicating. And that's the first line on this. Can you always show up like you're having a cup of coffee with your best friend? We're not here to gossip. We're not here to rag on one another. We're not here to make each other feel awful. We're here really just to build these connections that we have with one another and truly bringing that balance in. And then we did have partying on the bottom with time with friends. I didn't even know this was here. I was talking about like your best friend, right? Having fun, happily single, and living in the moment, being present. And when we're present, we can really truly understand how we're showing up and how we're being portrayed to another person, which ultimately we shouldn't really rely on how another sees us, but how we see ourselves in that moment. If we were in that person's shoes, how would we see ourselves coming across? And equally so, if you're here for the twin flame message, the same thing applies to you. Instead of being so angry and upset with your twin flame, like if you were in your twin flame shoes and you were showing up the way that you are right now, how would you come across to yourself? And when you understand this, then you begin to deepen the connection that you have with this soul at a soul level, understanding that all along you're chasing yourself, or equally so you're running away from yourself. And that can be applied to every relationship that we have in our lives, and in turn can really heal ones that have burned bridges, ones that have been deeply wounded, and ones that we feel will never be healed. We can actually begin to heal those from a soul level and really change the way that we're energetically showing up, which is where we have disruptions in our connections in the first place. So here you have, with the topic of love, Source coming in and saying stay positive, right? Which is always easier said than done. But mostly the questions here are to ask yourself, how would I feel if I were showing up the way that I am right now, if I were in their shoes? And really just putting the shoe on the other foot, okay? So this is what I see for you. If you feel like this is your message, leave a little coffee cup emoji down below and say, understanding that love is patient and love is kind. I always show up in a state of consideration for myself, which allows me to consider others. Leave me a thumbs up. It would mean so much to me if you did. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find all those links below in the description box. You can email me for a personal reading and I'll get you out further information. You can follow me on over to my podcast on Spotify at Scatter Love Radio. You can even join as a member, and I truly hope to see you over on memberships. But if not, thank you so much for your continued support here. I'm so honored to have you all here. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there and get on out of here. I do want to take a quick second and thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my guides for coming together to give us this incredible message. And until next time, stay human. Bye.